Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the After Hours podcast. Today, we brought on one of the realest entrepreneurs in the game, um, a tax professional, and a gentleman, Mr. Nick Tait. I appreciate you coming on today, brother.
Thanks for having me, my boy.
Why don't you introduce yourself to the audience? Tell us a little bit about yourself, and I know we just we've been friends with some of the people in the same friend groups, and we kind of connected a few months back, and it's nice to have you on here today. So I appreciate you coming out tonight.
Yeah, most definitely, most definitely. Yeah, I appreciate you having me here. You're a funny guy. Yes.
Introduce yourself,
So,
Mr. Tate.
so I'm Nick Tait of Tate's Tax Services. I'm a tax professional as well as a credit repair specialist. I deal with brokering deals in lending and funding. Um,
And a lot more than that.
taxes,
Real estate
bookkeeping,
investor.
accounting, real estate investor on the light end, nothing crazy just yet.
Gotta start
But
somewhere,
it's
though.
got exactly. You know what I'm saying? You gotta dip your feet, get wet real quick.
No, listen, you got to start somewhere, man. Whether it's real estate or anything in life or.
Oh, dude,
Why the
what are you? Come on, man. Class is in session. Turn it off.
I'm sorry to the audience, but listen, man, it's really nice to have you on the show today because I know just from some of the conversation that we've had, you didn't grow up in the easiest situation. It's always amazing to see people deal with adversity and become successful in business. But this phone doesn't stop. I gotta turn this phone off. I'm sorry, audience. Hold on, 1 second. So it's always nice to have somebody come on the show, somebody who's gone through so much in their life, and to see somebody deal with adversity and to become successful in life and in business. And I know you have your family, you're a parent just like myself, at a young age, and I think that really humbles you quick and makes us all grow up. And give us a little or tell us a little bit about your background. I know your upbringing might not have been the easiest. You said you grew up with a single parent growing up, and
Yeah.
that
So, pretty much, yeah. Grew up in a single parent home. Grew up with my mom and my brother. Um, in apartments mainly. Always in apartments. You're not saying that that means I wasn't brought up correctly.
no,
You know what I
never,
mean?
of course not.
Nothing of that nature. But it's more or less like I didn't have the opportunities to do things that other people may have had the opportunity to or to be able to get into because of funding. You know what I mean?
course.
So certain things I just couldn't do because
Yeah,
wasn't able to afford it.
yeah,
So that and I some of my own adversity is caused by myself. Because I play.
all of us though.
Yeah. You play the victim every now and then. So you start doing some shit that technically you're not supposed to do, but you do it anyway. It's fun at the time. So all going.
Everybody starts somewhere. Everybody grow. Well, some of us grow up. We've definitely grown up.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Yeah, like it started in middle school for me, so it was just like I was bad then, and it was fun to be bad.
Of course.
Yeah,
It's still fun to be bad.
Yeah, I had a blast. You know what I mean? But you learn quickly that that's not the route you want to take, and it really humbles you to be put into certain situations and experiences to really put life into perspective. So that's
100%.
really where it comes down to. But I learned quickly from myself that I gotta stop putting myself in bad situations. So that's where my maturity came into play.
That's all it is. You realize, even myself, growing up, no matter how you grow up, like you said, you know, whether it's a certain situation, with your parents or, like growing up, I didn't have, and people could say easiest childhood, not easiest childhood. I had a great childhood.
Yeah.
But there's always going to be things as kids, I feel like, or as anybody in a family that wishes it could have been a certain way, or whether it's your parents are divorced. My parents got divorced when I was 2. So,
Yeah.
you know, everybody handles things differently.
Oh, we're like twins.
Yeah, whatever it is. But like you said, you have to just push forward. You have to deal with the adversity. Everybody's got something going on worse than the next person, and that's kind of how I think. When I start to get down and complain about things in life, and you wish it could have been this way or that way, you have to take a step back and realize that there's people out there that wish they were in your situation. That you're complaining about things that to them that's not even a thought in their brain because they have something really real that's going on.
Yeah, yeah.
Even though what you're going through might be real to you, compared to what somebody else might be going through, it might not even relate. So listen, to also see you, I know you've built a great business, on the accounting side. Tell us a little bit about how did you decide to, when did you decide to get into that business, and when do you want to start doing taxes? That's something that I always, thought about.
So when I wanted to, it's funny because I went into when I started going to college, I went in for accounting, but I hated taxes.
Yeah.
Hated it. When we did it, taxes and
I never liked numbers, but I always wanted to do tax. I don't know, something about it, just like doing taxes.
I was always
cool.
good at numbers. Math
Yeah.
was my shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I was always good at math. But when it came to taxes, writing it out and everything like that, I just couldn't get into it. I hated it. But I got through the classes and whatnot. And then I was working at Teachers Federal Credit Union.
Nice.
I was a teller there. And as I was going to school, and I came across this company. It was an accounting company. And the guy in there was pretty friendly. He was cool. So we got to talking, just started conversing back and forth every day, building rapport, you know what I mean? So I'll tell you right now, just the kind of side notes, like always network no matter where you are, that's
Your network
so
is your
important.
net worth.
You could just be working and just creating a rapport with someone, building that relationship is just super important. But back to the story. So with that being said, we started talking. I asked him, "What do you do?" He's like, "Oh, I do accounting, bookkeeping, and I do taxes." I pretty much after that brushed him off. I said, all right, never mind. I was like, hey, I don't even want to do taxes. He's like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Why wouldn't you want to do taxes?" I'm like, I hate it. I was like, it's boring. I was like, I don't like it. I was like, it's too much. It's like, nah, man, that's where the money's at.
Yeah, yeah.
That's everybody needs to get their taxes done, whether they get it done by
It's a
you.
recession-proof business. Think about it. People are always going to have to do their taxes, no
There's
matter
not
what happens.
There's not a robot out there that can help you out the way a tax professional can. Like you got TurboTax and all those different systems that can do a tax return, but they always make mistakes. Everything makes mistakes. If you don't have,
Yeah, it costs you money.
Yeah, it costs you money. They're gonna make mistakes. It's gonna happen, and you can't talk to anybody because guess what? The mistake is not of anyone's fault, but a computer error.
Yeah, what are you going to do? Who are you gonna
So
talk
what do? You have to deal with the IRS correspondence. You have to deal with all the bullshit letters, whatever it is. If you go to a tax professional now, that's somebody who will handle the correspondence if something happens. They'll be able to own up to the mistake that's being made. You got to sign off. It's a lot of different circumstances in that sense. And he really put it into perspective for me. Like, that's the route I should take things. So what I do, I took him up on a job opportunity, started working for him. I was working maybe like 32, 40 hours at Teachers. I was working for him maybe 24 hours a week, going to school full time, 12 to 16 credits, and just really just grinding, just getting to it, working, building that, that business savvy. He taught me how to create my own business, start my own tax company, and really start things from the ground up with, I'll be honest with you, like probably like $600-700 started with.
That's awesome.
To turn it to what it is today.
Look where you are now.
Yeah, exactly. It's really, it's a service, and a service everybody needs. So it's somewhere, it's a niche for everybody.
Yeah, but it's got a lot to do with the person that you are. The people, even like me in my business. If you're not that personable person, if you're not likable by people, you have that quality. Yeah, you're a funny dude. So, whenever you can just go around people and be liked in that room, or, understand when business is business, which, I feel like even a lot of our friends that, we're friends with, and I could speak for myself, we'll joke about shit, we'll act immature, but when it comes down to business and being successful, it's a different conversation. And those are the people that I put myself around, and those are the people in my friend group. So
it's funny you say that because I noticed, certain friend groups are for certain time periods,
in life.
And certain areas in your life. Like I hang out with certain people when I'm want to do certain things with my business and I want to go places and do things with myself, I'm with a certain group because I know if I'm with this group, they're not that they're bad people or anything like that, but it's not the same mindset what I'm trying to get into. I'll go back to them when I'm ready to have fun or do whatever, but when I'm trying to focus and grind it, I gotta shift away. So it's all about knowing who you are. I'm a party animal, so.
Yeah, well, like you said, man, when it's time to get down to business and, be a father, like we are, whatever it is, it's
that shit's fun.
That shit is fun.
That shit is fun.
Tell us a little bit about that. I mean, I know being young dads, for me at least, when I was, what was I? I was 26. I was turning 27.
Okay.
I had my daughter, and it's funny because we all think we know it all growing up. Even 5-10 years ago, I never could have imagined to be where I am in life now. Forget business, forget anything. Just with a daughter and with family and that whole thing. But it is really not. You wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. It's really just such an unbelievable.
Oh,
thing
hell
to
no!
see.
You know what? It's funny because I'm a sucker for like a journey.
And I never thought I'd be like that because
Yeah,
I always
yeah.
loved kids, but I was always the guy that I don't want to hold your kid. I was never like that.
Oh yeah,
but
nah, same.
now that I have a kid, I want to hold everybody's
Yeah,
kid.
yeah. I don't even want to hold any new babies. I'll be like,
But now once you
what
have,
am I doing with this?
No,
You
I
know?
know, but now it's a different feeling.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Yeah, like I just love a journey, like a destination in life, and it's pretty cool to watch them grow up and go through these progressions, these developmental progressions that are just like newfound to them, and you get to kind of see a whole different perspective on life at that point. It's just
It's crazy.
completely different. It's not one and the same. Nobody can say anything. Is like when you watch that, it's so surreal.
It is surreal because even going back to years ago, growing up myself, like I said before, I always loved children, but I could never imagine myself, especially at 28, 29 years old, having a kid.
Oh nah, I thought I was gonna be the cool uncle. Honestly,
That's what I'm saying. Be the cool uncle, I know.
I thought I was gonna be the cool uncle. Bachelor parties. Like say, oh, what's up? Come on, kids. We going to the pool.
So we still have our fun, but you have to come home, and that's the priority.
Yeah,
Take care of your
yeah.
family, so
I go away, but it's nothing like home.
nothing like home.
Yeah,
but
that's for sure.
to get a little off topic, off of the family stuff. I know you recently started to invest into some real estate. I know that's something that you talked about. That was a goal of yours always. What are your plans? I know you bought a property, an investment property recently, and are you looking to expand that portfolio now? Are you looking to get into real estate more, or what?
So first and foremost, fuck that guy Jesse. Y'all can send that to him. Nah, that's my guy. But yeah. So I bought this house with my friend.
It's a cool area too.
Yeah, you know what? I didn't know anything about it at first because you come to me and tell me you want to buy a house in the Catskills. I'm like, what the hell is this guy talking about? Like, he's like, oh, yo, it's this beautiful area. They have this, they have that, and then, it's like a real bougie, boutique-y area. It's really nice. People are there. I go up there. Bro, I don't see nothing. So I'm just
nothing, right?
I trusted him so much that I believed in the vision before I even could see anything.
Of course.
Because that was just like the relationship we had.
Course.
So I was just like, all right, you know what? Like,
yeah.
I was like, I don't see shit. What is he talking about? Like, crazy. I'm just like, all right, you know what? I'm cool with it. Like, let's do this. I'm down to throw my money into it. I feel like it's a house investment at the end of the day. So at the very least, it's still an appreciating asset.
Yeah.
I won't have to worry about things kind of falling down in that sense.
No, especially in that area.
Yeah, and like I looked into a little bit, the rental income. It'll at least pay for the mortgage at the very least. So
Well, that's what you have to think at our age. I feel like these young kids growing up, I mean, a lot of them are trying to get into the real estate game, but just not thinking short term is what people have to focus on because it's a long term play.
oh yeah,
And people can't stand to think the long term stuff because you don't see the reward right away. But over the course of 10, 15, 20 years, is really when you see those benefits of what you did now. So
most definitely,
That's
yeah.
the play.
I think that when you go to buy a house, you should think at least to keep it for 5 years at the very least, and just in general, just to keep into perspective that sometimes you could go and fix up a house in 6 months and it takes 1.5 years, 2 years to sell.
Yeah, it depends.
It cannot sell right away. So you got to think about it in a long-term perspective. If I have to hold on to this, what am I going to do? What am I going to take out of this? Am I going to take some equity? Am I going to pay myself back? Am I going to wait to flip it? You know, if you wait 2 years, then $250K worth of profit is tax-free.
Right.
So
here he goes. The accountant's coming out.
Yeah. You know, I got to throw some knowledge out there. But yeah, you know, if you sell the home at $250K, you got some repairs in and whatnot, you go under that $250K, but you still get the profit that put that in your pocket.
Yeah.
Technically,
that's a good play.
It's a win.
It's a win.
You know, 2 years keep a home. That's 2 years flies by like nothing. It's almost already tax season.
I don't know what the fuck's going on. I feel like ever since COVID happened, I just feel like life, the days, the weeks, the months, everything just it's insane how fast things.
We were in Arizona. What? May.
Arizona is the most expensive fucking place on the planet.
For no reason. It's not Vegas.
No.
It's not Vegas, and it shouldn't be that expensive.
No, it's not Vegas. I mean, we didn't really gamble. It's not really like a gambling.
But it's just not the nightlife. Just is not anything. It's 2 a.m. What am I supposed to do after that? Yeah. Gotta go to bed. I want to party still. Like, what do you mean,
Mr. Tait? Listen, you know, I want to throw it to you a little bit. What's something that I love bringing people on this podcast because, number one, it's nice to get out of the business environment and, you know, talk about some of the stuff that we've gone through in life and, you know, some of the adversity that we've dealt with and, you know, to have people, and the reason I name this place the Mindset Media Center is because everybody who comes in here and sits at this podcast table has the right mindset, you know, and that's why I brought them on the show, because I feel like I know they've, you know, instilled in themselves and in the people around them, you know, the qualities that you need to, you know, be successful in life and in business. You know, is there any insight or anything that you want to speak about, you know, that you would like to share with the audience? You know, I know when things get challenging in life, you know, like we talked about in the beginning, you have to just push forward and deal with the adversity. But what's something that, you know, maybe you could share with the audience, you know, before we pack it up today, a little piece of advice for these young entrepreneurs, you know, deciding to maybe try something that maybe they never tried before, you know, like you did, you know, and take the leap of faith.
Just like Nike, just do it.
Just do it.
Just
right?
do it. Take the risk. Take the initiative. Do something that somebody either said you couldn't do, or somebody said that you wouldn't do, or somebody said that you shouldn't do. Because at the end of the day, it's all about what you are capable of in your mind. And as long as you keep pushing forward and you keep that adversity and that ambition, you're going to get, like we were just saying before, you're going to get where you want to go, because that's just the energy that you're bringing with it. Like, you're going to take that piece of branding or job or career that you're going to go with, and you're going to go far.
That's it, man. That's it. Well, listen, bro, I appreciate you coming on today, bro.
Boy, you know,
we'll definitely do this again in the future. Maybe we'll sit down with Jesse. We'll co-host. We'll have a couple people on the show.
Yeah, we got to have a roast session.
A roast session, right? But no, all kidding aside, it was nice to have you on here today, bro.
Yeah, most definitely. I appreciate you.
Thank you, brother.